Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island area fishing report for this Independence Day 2023. It's 4th of July weekend. Don't forget, we're going to be closed Monday and Tuesday this next week for allowing our families to be able to celebrate Independence Day with their families. So Wednesday, come on back and see us here at Bucks Island. But first, we're going to turn our attention to the fishing report. We got our usual crew. We got Josh, Tom, Lee, and Gentry going to share their information on their lakes. We'll be right back with what the guys have to say. Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island area fishing report for Saturday, July the 1st. First of all, have a happy 4th of July from all of us here at Bucks Island. We know you're probably going to go fishing, so we wanted to talk to Tom Ott again this week, find out what's happening at Guntersville. Tom, shed some light on it for us.
And I'm telling you, Dano, I know I'm sounding like a broken record when I say the lake is really showing out, but it's really showing out right now. The weather's getting hotter. A lot of times, the dog days and all that kind of stuff. Well, right now, not at Guntersville anyway. I mean, these fish, you can go and just... I'm experimenting. I'm just trying things that I want to try. But, some things that I've run across that have really caught a lot of fish here is a popar early in the morning, especially if you get it over that grass or you can find an area that doesn't have floating grass. That popar's been, it's been money here lately. Another thing is just a small worm. In the grass, maybe in 6, 7, 8 foot of water, with some, 2, 3, 4 foot of grass. These fish are just very aggressive right now. I mean, it's unbelievable. Seeing a lot of crawfish in the live well. So, it's time to get those jigs out and really work those jigs. Now, if you move over to the ledges and you start throwing those crankbaits and your spoons and things like that, a lot of those fish have been worked over pretty well, but you can still find those little groups. And if you do something a little bit different, a drop shot, a shaky head, something like that, something that the fish really don't see a whole lot of in that area, you're going to catch them, and if you're not catching them out there, just make a short jaunt somewhere to a hump or a cut or anything like that. And these fish are just really, I'm telling you, Guntersville is going to be exploding next year. It should be number one in everybody's book, I would think.
All right, we talked bass fishing a little bit. Is there anything else going on? Are you seeing some striper activity, some catfish, maybe some brim or some crappie? You see something else going on down there?
See a lot of those white bass, a lot of things, yellow bass, white bass are getting up, starting to school a lot now. And, we're getting to that time where you're going to start seeing a lot of largemouth schooling like that. So, in your bigger bays, you're going to have just big, acre-sized schools of fish. But, it's a great time to take a kid out, maybe throw a small spoon or even maybe a small blade bait like a cicada or something like that. Those stripe will just eat it up, but you could catch hundreds of them at any outing that you want. Just watch your graph. When you run across them, obviously you're going to know they're not bass, but, just drop down to them. You can catch them all you want. The brim have kind of slowed down somewhat. The crappie bite is, I think it's a little more difficult to search for those right now, but they're still biting under the bridges, still around the causeway. But out in that deeper water on those creek edges, I think is your best bet with the crappie in 18 foot of water or so. Look for stumps. That's where they're setting up at this point.
Tom, as always, brother, we appreciate it. Have a great weekend and a happy 4th of July.
Tight lines. Talk to you later.
Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island area fishing report for Saturday, July the 1st. Hey, first of all, happy 4th of July to everybody. Be safe out there on the water. We know you're going to watch some fireworks, maybe get a little fishing in. We're going to ask Josh Herron, what's the best thing to do on this Independence Day weekend, Josh, at Logan Martin and Lay Lake?
You want the honest answer?
Sure, why not?
Stay home and cut grass.
There you go.
Oh, man, it is going to be crowded. Everybody who drives a boat once a year, this is their weekend. So get out early, get home quickly. And but no, man, it's there's not going to be a lot of offshore fishing to be had this weekend. Main priority this weekend is going to be do your best not to run over any small children on inner tubes. Keep your head on a swivel.
There you go.
And bass fishing is going to be secondary. But no, get out, enjoy it. That's what the weekends are for. There's still fish to be caught right now. There's a lot of fish on boat docks on Logan. So any of these big main creeks, where the creeks meet the river. There seems to be fish holding on all those docks pretty good. Lay's kind of the same situation. It's dictated right now pretty much on an early bite. So frogs, swim jigs, buzz baits, they're still working pretty good around the grass early. But this weekend's going to be boat driving and safety 101.
Yeah, it's a good time to work on your slalom skills, I would imagine, out there.
Yeah.
So what other techniques are going to work? Do you want to stay in the grass? Are you going to fish docks? What other things might work?
Man, the problem you're going to run into, especially this weekend on a big holiday weekend, is fishing the bank's going to be a night. The problem with fishing the bank this weekend is going to be boat traffic. Banks are going to get washed out and muddy really early. So those deeper docks are really going to be kind of key. Brush around docks. Standing timber at Lay is a really good option right now. Stuff that boat traffic's not going to affect that much. So if you're going to fish grass at Logan or Lay, you need to do it really quick and early because it's gonna get pretty nautical pretty fast.
Well, brother, we appreciate everything. Have a great 4th of July, and we'll talk to you again next week. Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, July the 1st. We know you probably want to get out and get a little bit of fishing done, so we're going to talk to Lee Pitts about what to do on this weekend to catch a few fish. Let's start at Weiss Lake briefly. Tell me what's going on up there, Lee.
Yeah, the best advice I can give you is get out there quick and try to be out of there quick because we're going to have a lot of traffic this weekend, but,
Yep.
you know, you can still catch some fish. Our grass bite here at Weiss is slowed down a little bit. You know, I think with the heat that we've had this week, that you can catch a few real early. You know, that early morning bite's good in the grass, but then it's a quick-lived deal. You got to get out of there. Once that sun pops up, you need to start getting on some wood cover. Docks has been real good here lately. You know, when you get those docks 3, 4, 5 foot of water, using creature bait, soft plastics, things like that. I hadn't talked to a lot of guys that the jig bite has still been pretty strong, but slowing something down, you know, a D-bomb, some kind of little creature bait you can pitch in there. Still catching fish doing that, and these spots are starting to be a little more active out in some of the open water too.
How do you catch those fish out there in open water at Weiss? Is it a big worm? Is it a swim bait? What kind of things are you looking at?
Yeah, with your largemouth, you're throwing that, you know, an old monster, something like that, and can get some bites on it. I go with a little bit lighter weight than a lot of guys use, especially around the deep brush, something that you can kind of walk it through there a little bit without it just being a real quick action. But a lot of these guys now, they're throwing a shaky head, throwing that trick worm, throwing a little old ultraviolet speed crawl or something like that on a shaky head. And some of these fish that are on the, not necessarily the creek channels, but on some of those little high spots, 6, 8 foot deep, got a little hard bottom to it. That shaky head has been the key to it.
All right, let's talk Neely Henry. I know same thing, get out early, get off early. But there's been some decent stuff going on. We've had 20-pound bags win. Kenny Purnell, we still had a good BFL with 17, 18, 19 pounds that wins. It seems like Neely's fishing better. What are you hearing out of there?
It is here, you know, for the last 3 or 4 weeks, Neely's been strong. I mean, it's looking good. Not only just that top 2, 3, 4 spots, but it's been consistent on through. You know, these guys are catching fish. Of course, it's whoever can get that really good 5, 6 pound bite early, and then I think what it does, it helps you settle down a little bit.
Yep.
Where, you know, I got 2 or 3 good ones in the bucket. Now I can start slowing down, just trying to get me 3 more bites. So I think that's one of the keys. If you can get a decent bite or 2 early and then peck around, dock fishing, still a good grass bite at Neely. You know, it's one of those things, but you got to hit it pretty quick because those guys that run that main river with those big old party boats, it's one of those deals that let them, everybody share it. Fishermen get out there and get what they need early. Go on and hit you a shady spot and take it easy and watch the show.
Thanks, Lee. We'll talk to you again next week.
All right, guys. See you then.
Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, July the 1st. Hey, it is Independence Day weekend here in the South and across the whole country. We're going to check in with Gentry Gordy to talk a little bit of Jordan Lake and Lake Martin fishing. I know, Gentry, things are going to be party central down there, especially at Lake Martin, just any lake in the South. What do people want to do if they want to put a few fish in the boat and still be able to go celebrate with their family?
Do it. Get out there early. You know, I know it's hard to get your kid. You know, it's hard for me to get my kid up that early. But you know, if you can get them up early, there's some mayfly hatches going on pretty much everywhere. First thing in the morning, your popper and your jig, stuff like that. If you can find the mayfly hatches, there's still some fish on them walls, but we're getting to that point with the heat that they're moving out. The bigger ones are, they're getting deeper than they were. That 12 to at Lake Martin, you can catch them up to 30, 40 foot, and on. But
Sure.
Just be safe. Or if they're into night fishing, it's night fishing's heating up. It's that time of year where the fish will move up around those lights and stuff like that. You can beat the heat.
What kind of techniques do you want to try?
Other than first thing in the morning with your popper and your jigs and stuff up around those bushes and all where the mayflies are. But once you start moving out, pill, ball and chain, Carolina rig, this time of year I go to a big shaky head all the way up to 3/4 ounce. With a big worm on it, your green pumpkins and your plum apple, your basic summertime colors.
What about Jordan Lake? That kind of covers Lake Martin, but what about Jordan Lake? What's the approach there?
Mayflies in the morning. That's the same thing going on there. If you want to go shallow, the grass bite. That's the thing about Jordan. You can, if you commit to it, or if you like fishing grass, you can punch that. As it thickens up. With a big weight, you can punch it and catch some good fish. But past that, after it heats up during the day, you got to get offshore. It's just water temps climbing up, And this up there, I throw a 3/4 ounce ball jig. It's just, it's heavy, it gets down, but it's just a smaller profile. For some reason, the big spots seem to really like that.
You like that lion's mane skirt with it trimmed short right around the head?
Yes, sir. Yeah, trimmed real short right around the head. And I actually did it's a 3/4 ounce football jig, but then I cut the skirt, real just above the head and make that spider jig approach with that bigger jig.
Gentry, as always, brother, we appreciate it. Have a great 4th of July with the family, and we'll talk to you soon.
Y'all too, guys. Take care.
Well, that'll do it for our Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for this Saturday, July the 1st. Thanks for spending the time with us. We hope you have a great Independence Day with your family. Please be safe out there, and we will see you next week when you come on back to Bucks Island. We are always happy to see you because you are the best part of Bucks Island. We are here to help, and we appreciate you.